Happy fucking New Year. You might be wondering to yourself, Dalton, it's not January 1st. I don't give a fucking shit about calendar years. I don't care that it's not January 1st. I'm talking about fantasy football years. And tonight is the beginning of this fantasy football year. So happy fucking New Year. First and foremost, welcome back. Welcome back to Modelo Time Fantasy Football League for this year. And any outsiders watching this, welcome back to the experience that is Modelo Time Fantasy Football League. The greatest league this earth has ever seen. Now, I have to start this off with something that I absolutely hate. I hate doing this, and I never want to do this again. But I guess congratulations are in order to last year's winner, Seth. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's congratulate or boo Seth, depending on your preference. Me personally, my preference is to boo. So boo! Boo you, Seth. Now that's out of the way, let's do just a brief off-season recap. Very, very brief. You may notice that this league has 2 less teams than it had last year. Now, you see a lot of these leagues, the NBA, NFL, MLB, blah, 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 all these different leagues. Hell, even NCAA is doing the different conference expansions. Everyone's trying to expand. Bigger, 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 bigger. But guess what? Not us. Not us, because we're different. We're fucking different. So what do? We cut 2 teams. Hopefully for the first time and last time ever. But we cut 2 teams, and guess what? We're better because of it. We have 12 guys that are absolutely locked in on this league, wanting this league to be the best. And I think we will make it that. I think we are well on our way to make it that. Now this video is to kind of preview every team for this upcoming season. Just a brief preview, nothing too crazy. We were able to get quotes from some team owners, weren't able to get quotes from some other ones because, you know, they suck ass. But let's get started, all right? First up, we have Austin Buckingham and the Skull Purple Nurples. And now, we all know that Asti is a Vikings fan, a Vikings homer. So when he made the decision to trade Dalvin Cook, you know, we kind of all questioned it, like, what's he going? What's he doing here? But for some reason, with that, he still has high hopes for this season, which is weird because his best running back spent the preseason and offseason working with the punt team. But I guess you could say that Skull Purple Nurples has possibly, arguably, the best receiving group in the league, featuring Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, and DJ Moore, among others. Like, that's just the top 4 in, like, rankings. But, you know, like, countless others. Michael Thomas. Who knows what that's going to be like, you know? So, like, would this receiving core be enough to propel the Purple Nurples to the playoffs and back to the championship? Or are we going to see his absolute lack of running backs demolish his hopes? You know, and we reached out to Asti to try to get a comment, but he's just too much of a little bitch to give us one. So there's that. So I mean, if you want to see him in action, though, tune in week 1 to see this team get absolutely thrashed by Sutton on TDs. Okay. Now next we have a team that's owner was very gracious and giving us a quote. And we'll start off with that. Our next team is Friday Night Splash owner Ben Smith. And this is what he had to say. The Friday Night Splash are ready for another run for a championship. We have 2 running back ones coming back from injury this year, and with 0 trades made in over a year, we believe that this is our year. We have great team chemistry, which is the most important factor in fantasy football. We have got our guys, and we all believe in each other. Watch out for FNS, Friday Night Splash, because we will be competing week in and week out. Bold statements, but not too bold, you know? And yeah, Friday Night Splash has some good running backs coming back from injury. And coming off a season where they tied for the best record in the regular season, they're a team to watch for sure. But they're really hoping that some of that magic transfers over to the playoffs. Because the playoffs, I mean, they really haven't been kind to this organization. They've lost in the first round. The previous 2 years haven't had a playoff win yet. So they're hoping this year is going to be different, relying on that strong running back group led by Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, and J.K. Dobbins. And I think really it's going to come down to health, but also a big factor is going to be Kyler Murray. And if he's able to brush up on his film and be strong enough to make it through an entire season, you know, that could be enough to get this team over that hump and into a championship. So, you know, are we going to see them splash into a pile of confetti at the end of the year? Or are we going to see them fall splat right on their face in pain? You know, that's, who knows. Up next, we have tight end factory reincarnated and team owner Corey Graham, who was also unable to be reached for comment. You know, we called him about 28 times. Every time, decline. So I don't know what the fuck is up with him. But reincarnated, let's talk about that. Reincarnated? How can something that was never there be reincarnated? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no idea. Maybe he can explain it to us if he ever actually returns our goddamn phone calls. Anyway, sorry. Corey Graham and his squad are looking to ride their top tight end, Mark Andrews, possibly the game's best tight end, all the way to the promised land. Plagued by DeAndre Hopkins' suspension, though, that wide receiver room is going to be led by Devontae Smith and Jarvis Landry. You know, some big question marks there. And you might be wondering, like, oh, why haven't we talked about running backs yet? And I'll tell you why. Because when your running back room is leaning heavily on a 49er not named Frank Gore, probably not going to get a lot of talk. This team is about as average as it gets. They are 500 in its 2 years of existence. So we'll see what happens to that winning percentage after this year. And next we have the best team in all of fantasy football, Sutton on TDs, owned by none other than me, your commissioner. And this is my statement about the season. Did we disappoint in the championship last season? Yes. Did we trade away the reigning Modelo Fantasy Football League MVP? Yeah. Are we questioning our decisions? Some of them for sure. But do we still believe we are building the best dynasty the universe has ever seen? Absolutely. It's time for business. Sutton on TD's country. Let's ride. That's what I have to say. You know, I'm going to read this preview as it was written. It wasn't written by me. I felt that would be tasteless to write my own team preview. But here we go. The commission, his TDs, look to be the favorite on the season, according to many league analyzer systems across the World Wide Web. With big expectations come big responsibilities. This organization will have to rely on young talent to break out in Javonte Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and A.J. Brown, while hoping some vets can maintain recent success in Cooper Kupp. The X factor for Sutton on TDs will be Mr. Saquon Barkley. If there is lightning left in that bottle, this team will live up to those preseason favorite expectations and be Sutton on all the TDs money can buy. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just a little busy chugging that Kool-Aid. Let's fucking go. Up next, We will have Eric Lanier's Bad Mother Tuckers. Now, when we reached out to Eric for a statement, he said, "Fuck off." I don't know if that was to like his statement for the year, if that was just telling me to fuck off. I don't know. Nonetheless, this team, first, if the world was able to love and believe in one another the way that Eric loved and believed in his Bad Mother Tuckers, this world would be a great place, wouldn't it? Known for being the guy that is going to make moves based solely on his opinions and not the opinions of anybody else. Eric finally feels that he has a team that can make a playoff push after missing the playoffs by one game last season. Making a move for Dalvin Cook is the big offseason acquisition that this team has needed. Cook's veteran experience paired with unknown potential in young guys such as Travis Etienne, Jerry Jeudy, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Romeo Doubs, however the hell you say that. Is this the year that Bad Mother Tucker gets over that hump and gets into the playoffs, maybe makes a little noise? Up next, we have Eric Smith's Phil the Thrill. And this is his statement for the season. "Phil the Thrill is built to compete. We drafted well and made a lot of moves in the offseason. A lot of new faces, but the team is meshing well coming into this season. Will there be more moves made? Possibly. Do we have a championship team on our hands? Maybe. If we can stay healthy this year, we are guaranteed a playoff spot. After that, it's on the players to bring it home for us. Looking forward to the 2022 season and beyond. Future is looking bright." And I would have to say, I agree with Eric here. Health is going to be a very, very big factor for this team and their success. They're quite possibly the biggest what-if team in fantasy football history, right? Like, can this team finally stay healthy? They decided not to bring in a new training staff this offseason, which is questionable, to say the least. But they did make a lot of moves. They brought in Zeke. They brought in Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, Damian Harris, Amari Cooper. They also bring in a surprising rookie running back, Dameon Pierce. And to pair all of that with quite possibly the best fantasy football player there is, if he can stay healthy, Christian McCaffrey, the team on paper definitely has talent to be a playoff team, but it's all about that health. So that'll be a big thing to look at for this team. Next, we have a rebranded team, and rebranding has kind of been big, especially in the NFL. With the Washington, formerly football team, who was formerly the Redskins, now being the Commanders for this season. We had a rebranding of our own in Modelo time. Jake Zola's team rebrands to Worst to First. We'll talk a little bit about that a little bit later, but here's a statement he was able to give us. "Last year was not our best, and we know that. This offseason, we addressed some big concerns, especially at the running back position. We feel Henry and Connor will be huge assets this coming year and can propel our team. Adding Kelsey to the mix to show our young tight end, Pat Freiermuth, the ropes is going to be great for our tight end room. In our receiving room, we have a young group that we expect to make great leaps this year. And lastly, we upgraded the quarterback spot to an all-time classic, Russell Wilson. His leadership is going to take our team to the next level. Let's ride," which is a funny way to end a statement as a Raiders fan. Just saying, if you want to switch allegiances, just let me know. Very bold rebrand. Okay, very bold. Claiming to go to first place after coming off a 2-win season. Grande cojones. But, to their credit, they have made some terrific moves this year. Getting Henry in our D expansion. What's the opposite? Whatever the opposite of expansion draft is. Getting Henry in that. Adding Travis Kelce to a young tight end room. As you heard from them, they have a solid foundation to build around. We just kind of hope those demons from last year's 2-win team don't don't turn their head and come on back and haunt their quest to no longer be a doormat for teams to walk over. Up next, we have Levi's rebuilding team, Just Jalen. I reached out to Levi personally to get a statement, and he told me in a very personal message his statement, but he told me to paraphrase. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. His statement was basically, in my words, fuck the rest of you. You all suck. Just Jalen 2024. So take that how you want it. There's not much to say about this organization for this upcoming season. Their team preview will be more next year after they have 5 first-round picks in next year's draft. This year, as their team states, though, will be just Jalen Hurts. They don't have much else. But they're going to be hoping to cash in on some potential, throwing a lot of rookies into that starting lineup, including the 101 Breece Hall. We're finally going to be able to see what he's about, what he's gonna do in this league. So an exciting team to watch for the future. Might be rough this year though. Up next, we have possibly the most consistent team in the league, and Team Barrett Peanut. He never returned our calls either. We didn't call him 28 times like Corey. We called him a couple times, left him a couple voicemails, never returned our calls. So no statement from him. But, as I said, the most consistent team in the league. So consistent, actually, that they haven't changed their team name since we started. They've also gone 9-4 in both seasons of Modelo football. But, there's always a bad part of consistency. And that's that they've also been eliminated in the first round of the playoffs both seasons as well. So Preston's really looking to get his team over the hump this year and capture the franchise's first playoff win with a strong foundation built around Alvin Kamara and Stephon Diggs. The chances of Team Barrett Peanut becoming the Bo Pelini of this league and going 9-4 again and losing the big games are, 9 out of 13. And up next, we have the reigning champions, Trailer Park Girls, and owner Seth Walker, who had this to say about the upcoming season. We have a lot of high expectations this season. I know we will get everyone's best in our effort to defend our title, but Trailer Park Girls is up to the challenge. The champ. Last season's champs coming off a season of domination, where they went 11-2 and were able to handle their opponents in the playoffs. Although most may not view them as the favorite anymore, this is still a team that's going to make a lot of noise. Anytime you're led by quarterback Josh Allen, you have a chance to win the game. Their core foundation of this team is built in the running back room with Najee Harris and Nick Chubb. If this team is able to repeat their success from last season, it's really going to give Seth just a big old chub. No? Nobody on that one? Cool. All right. Kissing Cousins. Kissing Cousins. I thought you guys were based in Kansas, not Arkansas. Oh, jeez. Anyway, Kissing Cousins, reached out to him for a statement, and he declined. He declined a statement. And so, don't know what that's about. Maybe he's just all business. Maybe he was busy. I don't know. He declined. Kissing Cousins, coming off a disappointing 5-8 season last year after making the playoffs the year before. But since missing the playoffs, they've decided to embrace a rebuild or a reload or a retool, however you want to say it. The only problem is there is not a ton of promising youth. Or really a lot of draft capital on this team. So I would look for this team to be a big seller at the trade deadline, trying to get some exciting youth, some draft picks. I think they're going to be one of the bottom teams in the league, respectfully. But I really think they're going to bring some excitement in other ways, such as drinking more bourbon during games than anyone else in the league. I think that's pretty much a guarantee that that's going to happen. But with side sets on the future and Oskaloosa, goodness gracious. This is going to be an interesting team to watch in the future. And last, but certainly least, is Modelo's Most Wanted, owned by Trevor Lanier. And this is what Trevor had to say for the season. We know we are entering the season with a target on our back. It's something we embrace. We know that we are going to get team's best week in and week out. We want our name engraved on that trophy again, and we believe we have the roster that can make that happen. Our management team has been very aggressive this offseason to put our team in a 1 to 2 year window where we try to compete for titles. You know, what else can I say? What else can I say about Modelo's Most Wanted? You know, other than fuck you, Trev. Made some huge additions this offseason. And I mean, like he said, really going all in for that 1 to 2 year championship window. They bring in Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Devontae Adams, and playoff Lenny. Basically assembling the Monstars. I mean, you could even consider Trev Thanos after acquiring all the Infinity Stones. But you know what you know how the movies work out, right? The villains never win, besides that one where Thanos technically won, but then they made another movie where he lost. So we're really looking, you know, that's going to happen, right? Trev can't win. He's the villain. Villains don't win. So again, fuck you, Trev. And that's it. That's it for the team previews. We are in for a hell of a season, folks. It is going to be so much fun back in this fantasy league with you guys, getting to compete every week, getting some healthy trash talk going. I know I've put a lot out there, so I am prepared to receive a lot in return, because I mean, not all these words are mine, but they all are coming from me, and so it's going to look like it's me talking trash, and I embrace it. Talk trash. I love it. I love trash talk. So let's get it going. We're back, folks. We are back. Let's rejoice in the time, getting to have this fellowship of this league, this community. Let's rejoice that football is back, but always remember that there is only one thing that matters in this life, and that is fantasy football. That is this league. It's the only thing that matters. And if you think anything other than that, if you think differently at all, I've got 2 words for you. Suck it.